People that I was pulling for when they made the announcements, but none more than this man right here. His name is Doug Roland. He is the director of Feeling Through. New big news on Monday. Where were you? How did you find out? And how crazy did it get?
Well, I was at my girlfriend's place, who's also one of the executive producers of the film, Alana, and we were up well before the 5:20 something announcement. I actually surprisingly got a little bit of sleep the night before. Yeah, we were in front of our computer. We were on a Zoom. I was on a Zoom with Helen Keller Services, who's been my partner throughout this, as well as a Zoom with a lot of the key team. And I was warned by our executive producer Andrew, who'd been a part of a film that won 2 years ago, who's done this whole thing, how quickly they rattle off the names. But I don't think I was that ready for it, because they started whipping through these categories, and before I know it, our name's on the screen, and it was just as much relief as it was excitement. I would say equal parts relief and excitement.
Well, this is where the real work begins, because you've gotten to the dance, and now we've got to get the word out. For those who have been living under a rock and have not seen people like Cher and Coleman Domingo and various other celebrities tout your film, it's Feeling Through. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll let this man describe to you what you're in for when you watch Feeling Through.
Yeah, well, Feeling Through is a pretty simple and straightforward story that's ultimately about the power of human connection despite our differences. And it takes place out on a cold New York City street at night, between a young man who's looking for a place to stay and has nowhere to sleep that night, and his encounter with a deaf-blind man who's needing assistance getting home. And what transpires over the course of their time together is a really deep connection that they form that ultimately serves both of them, and they're both better off for it ultimately. And it's heavily inspired by a real life encounter I had 10 years ago. Similar story to encountering a man who's deafblind late one night out on a street in New York City, and having a whole hour plus with him as I sat and waited for his bus to arrive. And we communicated the whole time by me tracing one letter at a time on his palm and him writing back in a notepad. And it was a beautiful and really resonant experience for so many reasons. But, one being that it was the first deafblind person I'd ever met, two being it was someone that I felt like I'd really formed a connection with, and three, it's such a unique and intimate way to communicate with someone that you've just met, having that really physical contact and touch with each other. And, it was something that stayed with me for a number of years. And it's something that I knew ultimately I needed to create some story around, to share whatever was gained in that moment for me with other people.
So did Marley reach out?
So Marley, who's an executive producer on the film, we actually connected through mutual contact, and she's been very vocal about her feelings about the film. And as she said a number of times, she said the first time she watched Feeling Through, it was the best 18 minutes she's ever had watching a film, which is, certainly makes my heart sing hearing that. And, we connected on a Zoom, and, we hit it off immediately. And she's been an amazing part of the team since then, helping share the film with, many other people.
But did she reach out after the nomination?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're in constant contact throughout this whole thing. We were on a Zoom together. She, her and I and Jack and Andrew and several other people were on a Zoom together watching it live. So we all shared in the excitement together, watching it in real time.
So now here's the more important question, not whether or not Oscar winner, Marley Matlin, excuse me, was on that Zoom with you at 5 something in the morning. The question is now, who is your date for the big day? And has this been decided? And has that person you've picked already started picking out their attire?
That's a great question. The answer to that is I'm still waiting to hear some more details about what's happening with the show itself. I know that there's going to be a much more pared down and limited attendance this year. So, certainly kind of waiting to figure out what exactly the mandate is before making any decisions. But, obviously we'd love to have so much of our team there, but, we're going to figure that out once we know exactly what the details are.
Okay, the right answer was your girlfriend.
Well,
That
obviously, but if they've
that
somehow
was the
just said,
right answer.
but Sue and I are the nominees, so if they were just like, hey, it's just you and Sue, they can go. There wouldn't be much I could say, but she would be my only date, that's for sure.
Has she dropped hints about like what she might be looking to, if she could go, where, anything like
Oh,
that?
she's an executive producer on the project too. Has been like an immense part of this team. She's someone who is less interested in the award show itself and more interested in just sharing that moment with each other. So I think that's definitely the most important thing to her. And yeah, I mean, I just hope we get good news as far as how many people can attend. And hoping that we can have several people there from the team.
Well, I just know this before we get into where people can watch your film, because this is one of those instances where people can not only hear from an Oscar nominated director, Doug Roland, you can find this film and we'll get into that. But I'm just going to say it from a personal level. If I ever did something as crazy amazing as you did by getting nominated for an Academy Award for a short film, a narrative film, an animated film, shoot, if I was nominated for anything for an Academy Award, not only would my wife already call dibs on the date, she'd already be shopping for the dress, no matter what the parameters were. She'd be wearing the dress in the living room as we zoomed into the ceremony. Okay, let me just, because that's just how it would be. And I can tell you, you should enjoy the moment because it's a special moment because it's a special film. Now, in terms of where to find this film, we can find it on YouTube, can't we?
Yeah, and we've made it really simple. The easiest way to find us is to go to feelingthrough.com. You can find not only Feeling Through, but our supporting documentary, Connecting the Dots, which has actually been a huge part of how we were sharing the film on our own. We would often play Feeling Through as part of the Feeling Through experience, where we'd play Feeling Through, the supporting documentary, Connecting the Dots, and then do a panel discussion and Q&A with the deafblind community. And so a lot of people say they like the supporting documentary just as much as the film. And it's a great opportunity to take a peek behind the scenes, hear about more about the inspiration for the film, my partnership with Helen Keller National Center, cast. We had Robert. We had cameras in the room the first time I met Robert, and then also the year-long search for Artemio, who's the man who's deafblind that I'd met now 10 years ago, who inspired all this. So we had cameras all along the way, and it's really a beautiful supporting piece that really fills in a lot of the story around the film.
Again, I have two dogs in this fight. One is nominated for animation. I'm actually pretty friendly with the directors from Wolfwalkers who were nominated for their feature. And you are my other person I'm pulling for. And it's not just that the Wolfwalkers thing is cool. That's one thing. And I've told you about this, the personal connection to your film and my family and whatnot. And I just appreciate the message you're getting out there about kindness and love and supporting people no matter what challenges or whatever they have going on, no matter whether it's the deafblind community or whatever special needs it might be. That's why I was so drawn to your film. Now, do they have any Q&As lined up for you? Are they going to do a massive push to get you guys over the top? What's coming up?
Yeah, so we've definitely got a lot of press coming up, and we're working on kind of our next couple Q&As we're figuring out, and definitely want to continue the conversation around the film. And what's really great about the film is it is very much in alignment with a big conversation that's happening in the industry and in Hollywood right now around authentic representation. And that's certainly a storyline that's part of this year's Oscars. Also, disability in film is excitedly a big storyline this year with Crip Camp. Our friends over at Crip Camp that we're
we love
happy
Crip
to
Camp.
see. So there's such great people too. Super excited about that. Sound of Metal, being another film that has a number of people who are a number of deaf actors in it, and in our film. So we're really excited to hopefully be ushering in a little bit more of what the future looks like, and hopefully it'll continue to be even that much better as far as disability representation in film as well.